Friends, are you ready for our weekly Lenormand reading? Today is November 10th, Monday. Mercury went into retrograde yesterday and will be in retrograde until the 29th, so consider yourself forewarned. First card out is what Spirit would like to speak with us about. Oh, it's the ring. The ring are your involvements, right? It could be an event. It could be an offer. The moon is up in the upper left-hand corner, which indicates offer. And then the bear as well. So I kind of feel like there is an offer on the table. I do see where there's healing involved, or it could be like family root feel to it as well. And then I see the whip, and then the letter, and then the fox, which kind of indicates like writing the offer, right? Or challenges with that. There could be some repairs that need to be done, from what I can tell as well, because that's kind of what that whip indicates, a little bit of a challenge. But I also feel that there should be some sort of counsel. So I don't know if maybe consulting an expert is needed in that area. But news is definitely coming in. So that would be in one aspect, okay? In another aspect, it could be a knight in shining armor feel to it, and an offering of a hand in marriage, because the moon, the ring is there, and then the gentleman and the rider. So that kind of has that feeling to it. So I don't know what's going on in everybody's lives, but there's probably a little bit of truth in both of those scenarios for people. All right, let's see what else. I do see that the next card out is the anchor, which is kind of like, a landing kind of a feel. And it is a finality kind of an energy, because the coffin is next to that. And then we've got the snake, which the snake is, it's kind of like a return feeling, but just know that if there is some energies that feel that they are either sluggish or things are not going easily, kind of it's moving forward, but it's there are obstacles, okay? Just know that you're being spiritually protected, because the clover and the cross is there with that snake. So that snake can kind of feel like wise wisdom, wise counsel-y feel to it, spiritually protected from like your higher up feel, okay? Because the stars are there too. The crossroads has that feeling of, possibly going your separate ways, but it has that feeling of the portal that I've been speaking of. So maybe we just have some choices that are challenging, that we need to be made. And maybe we're just afraid to make the wrong choice feel. But I don't feel like you can make a wrong choice. I feel like no matter what, you will be on the path that you need to be on, okay? I do see children and family, close friendships. Those feelings are in the mix, so maybe that's why we're having a hard time making a decision, because we need for it to be in the best interest of everyone. And these are just thoughts, right? But these thoughts tend to be like where you're kind of like feeling like you're overthinking it, and really you don't need to do that. Just take it one bite at a time, feel. The key is there, so you will figure out the solution. And then the ship is there, which kind of has that travel feel to it. But it can also be a journey that is, that we're all on, as a collective, right? And that's why I'm here, right? To help all of us. It's that kind of feeling to it. Oh, I love to see the sun. The sun came out in the upper left-hand corner of that portrait. I do see a positive decision there and a breakthrough, even though that there may feel like there are some delays and challenges. I feel like, you're going to figure it out for sure. Sometimes you just have to brainstorm, talk it out. But finances are, or not just finances, because the fish can also indicate abundance and day-to-day activities. Um, that's kind of maybe what I'm doing here is, just giving citing examples of, things that could be happening in everybody's lives. Certain situations might apply to different people. So I do the best that I can to kind of come up with scenarios that it might be refraining to or pertaining to. I also refrain sometimes. I hold back because I do see a little bit of, behind the scenes things that it can mean as well. And I don't mean to not tell you. It's just sometimes things can be a little uncomfortable to talk about, especially if it's in the, challenging department, or if it's in, the passionate action situations. I don't like to talk about those too much, but sometimes I'll see them and I'm like, yeah, I can't talk about that. And there they are. The tree, the birch rod, and the clover that has that. It's kind of like that passionate type of a feel to it, but things that bring you passion. So it's not always necessarily passionate action. Let's see, what else do I see? Oh, the upper left hand is the moon, and then the far right is the mountain. The mountain is that obstacle I speak of, but it can also be of a distance, right? Somebody that's at a distance from you. Could be your child. It could be grandparent, because I see the lilies that are here too. So it could be, it kind of has that apples don't fall far from trees feel to it, because the tree is there. But I do feel like there might be some like new chapter, new developments, almost it has that feeling of a significance that you yet not know the importance of. But the key is there, so I feel like there are going to be some solutions, a green light. I see some projects that might be underway here that require maybe some fresh youth feel to it, or just some, maybe taking things a little easier, childlike wonderment feel, not be so strict or stern. The energy of childlike joy. Just approach life that way. Don't get too stuck or too stagnant or too rigid, because when the tree is there and then the mountain, I just kind of feel like that has that feeling of, kind of be flexible, okay? Children are flexible, obviously, so that's just that feeling that it's giving off. But I do feel that there's going to be a new beginning after an ending. And I do see the tower there, which is kind of like a time of the past. So I don't know if maybe some things are coming to a closing or a closure, and just know that something new is beyond that, okay? I have to laugh because I recently posted about the color of the door, that has symbolic meaning to it, spiritual meaning behind what color the door is. And I have a blue door in my home. And my former job, when I got into the mortgage business, had a red door. And I've been very partial to both red doors and blue doors. But the blue door is peace and spirituality. And it gives off, that vibration of a little bit of tranquility. And then the birds are there, which the birds are my bluebirds, right? And they're kind of vocal in their music, and the things that bring tranquil energy, peaceful energy, spiritual energy. So try to maybe turn on some music that has that tranquil, easy listening type of music, okay? especially if you're feeling anxious or nervous. I feel that that is very beneficial, listening to music. It doesn't always have to be something smooth or soft, but maybe something even that gets you dancing, brings out those feel good vibes. Okay. I do see a little bit of an emotional challenge, and it might have to do with family. And I feel like you are at a crossroads, feel to it, trying to make the right decision. Maybe a little bit of a fear of failure, feel to it. But I don't think you can go wrong because the stars are there and the sun, and then the flowers as well. So even if things are tough, try to make the best of it. If there's some downtime, just take good care of yourself. I know that the whole world right now has a chaotic kind of feeling to it. And I feel like, kind of like when you're on the airplane, you need to put that mask on yourself and, self-care first before you tackle any problems that are outside of your environment. So take care of your own. And I do see that there might be, I don't know, I feel like we're going on a trip, though, somewhere, because I've got the Cavalier, the Stork. Those are both my movement cards. And then, it ends with the ship. So I feel like it's kind of like a voyage, right? I wonder if it's a voyage from the stars, though, feel too. So I don't know if it's the Enterprise kind of a feeling. Could be the comet that's, approaching. Who knows? I do feel, though, that, people start talking and, worries and fears are mentioned. And I just don't see where I don't entertain fears or worries or concerns. I know some people like to stick their head in the sand. I just protect my peace. It's that feeling to it. I do see partnerships here, and it has to do with finances. I do see a break in the clouds there, and I do see a change of power. I think that there's some negotiating going on as well. I don't know. I feel like it's all for the best there, though. I do see some online talks, and the lilies, which is lifestyle and career. So, I feel like we're trying to get started, maybe, of something that's new, and it has to do with your career, though, and maybe an offer. I don't know, maybe an offer's coming in on a house, or a relationship. I do see a little bit of fool rush in or a leap of faith feel, though. So just kind of go with the flow there, All I know is sometimes change, too much change too fast has it can be a little challenging. And I do see where there might be a little bit of an uncomfortable, I don't know, like somebody's either removed or a feeling of being abandoned or left out, a little bit of injustice or unfairness feel too. I feel like there needs to be an arbitrator, try to make it fair for both parties feel. We all want to do what's right, but sometimes the other party wants it their way, and it gets off balance. So we kind of have to bring that, balance back for all parties, because that's what's in the best interest of all. Feeling to it. A little bit of jealousy, a little bit of envy feel to it, a little bit of, life's not fair feel to it. Kind of like a child that, isn't getting treated fairly kind of feel. A little bit of growing pain kind of a feel too. only reason why I say this is the child's there, the snake is there, and the fox is there, which, that could be a little bit of a smart alecky kind of a kid that might have gotten in trouble for oh boy, I don't know. It's what it feels like. I don't know if that applies to folks, but I do feel that, we are going our separate ways, though, or a change in direction, but it's going to be good for the finances, though. So that's a good feeling. And the sun is there, too, in that focal spot. I think it's going to be a good change. It's just going to feel a little different because, we're either changing locations, or we're changing jobs, or we're changing, people, possibly. People are coming and going, kind of a feel to it. Revolving doorish feel. I don't know how that really applies to everyone, but maybe it'll resonate to your circumstance. I do see an invitation. I like to see that. And I do see, I see a house change or move or repair, possibly. But a break in the clouds. So I don't know if maybe that has something to do with migration because of weather, or maybe just because we here in Michigan just had snowfall. I know that's what I'd like to do, is migrate to Florida when I see that snow fly. I used to vacation there when I was a young girl to visit my grandparents. And I loved going there. Grandma had a pool that we all could go to. She was in, there were 2 phases to her park, and you could go to either one of the pools. And it was just something I always looked forward to, going to visit Grandma down in Florida. So maybe, people are thinking about, Christmas vacations, start planning for that. Let's see, what else do I see? Yeah, definitely at a crossroads, but things are going to be okay. I mean, things are opening up and there's movement there. I just feel like, there's something official that needs to be sorted out or figured out first, okay? I do see, an ending before a new beginning, and it's official in nature, has to do with the career and negotiations. That's definitely there. So I don't know if that has to do with your work, or if it has to do with a relationship, possibly an official relationship, because the ship is there too. Or an offer with the house. So I feel like that's, the theme here is either home, career, or relationship, and it's official in nature. Okay. But the stars are there with the sun, so I feel like it's, destiny feel. And I feel like there might have been a period of stagnation there, so it's kind of has that new chapter feel, and maybe that about darn time feel. Ships coming in feel. I see a little bit of codependency, though. Sometimes we need a little help from our friends feel, but sometimes we have to go it alone feel. A little uneasy. All I know is, when I feel uneasy, I just grab Roxy and I, give her a few pets, and both of us feel calm. Maybe it's that calm before the storm feel. Like waiting for that shoe to fall feel. But I just know that, it's going to be, things are it's healing because the tree is there, but they're communication, I feel, is where the challenge is. That's probably the Mercury in retrograde feel. So yeah, just give it time and give it as much patience as you can. Children aren't very patient. I think that that's what we need to learn, to be a little bit more patient. We can't always get our own way, so we kind of have to, I don't mean to say make sacrifices, but concessions at least. That negotiations, diplomacy, fairness, justice, all of those are in that last portrait. So, if you're feeling like life's not fair, I'm here to tell you it's not. But we all should try to play fair. I think that we're trying to break the silence field too, because the scythe in the coffin is there. Or trying to figure out a way to handle the situation. I don't know. But I do see a treasure chest. The fish in the coffin is there with the bear, so that kind of has that trust fund feel, big treasure feel. Like light at the end of the tunnel feel, like a rainbow, that silver lining feel. I know even in the worst and darkest situations, there's always some goodness that comes from that, right? Even if it's just the lesson or the experience. But I do feel that self-care, protect your peace, is very important, so, even if you're feeling like you're not doing enough, as long as you're taking care of yourself, that's important. It's equally important. I know that mothers, they can get overwhelmed and, getting worn out, taking care of all that needs to be taken care of. But, you can't neglect taking care of yourself. Okay. Oh, I see. I feel like we're going to go somewhere, though, that's bright and sunny. Even if it's a walk down memory lane or reminiscing about the past. But I feel like it could, for others, be, going on an adventure or a journey to a warmer, more pleasant location. And I feel like whenever I think about all the places Mike and I had ever always gone to, it was always on to the next adventure feel. Always have something on the books, so you have something to look forward to. Oh, yeah, it's right there. Oh, I do see a lucky break. I love to see lucky breaks or a stroke of luck. Yeah. I do see that there might be a challenge, though, where there might be a change of power. So, not everybody's going to be happy, but overall, I think it's for the greater good. Feel to it. So I don't know what that might apply to, in what sector. I love to see the stars and the sun together in the anchor, though. That is a wonderful feeling. And it's just, that change that doesn't feel good, because then we've got the scythe, the coffin, and the mountain. I just know that, rejection is spiritual protection, and redirection is to put you on the right path. Even if there are obstacles and delays and challenges, just know that what's meant for you will never pass you by. And the sun will always come up. Right? It's a positive attitude, positive mindset. That fear of missing out or, fear is just false evidence appearing real feel. So the more we worry or stew over the what ifs, it's robbing us of our joy now in the present. So just live in the present. When we get too far, thinking about the past or too much ahead of ourselves, we're not in the present moment, and look at what we're missing out on, basically. Or it could be that, time has a way of healing, but it also has a way of slipping through our fingers. Well, folks, I think that's about it. Yeah. Well, if you'd like a more personal reading, please feel free to reach out to me. And until next week, you have a blessed week. Bye now.